I took over as party chair in January, and I was astonished to find out that, I know this is a really small number, we only have 12% registered Republicans in Massachusetts. It's about under 500,000 people. We only had 4,000 email addresses.
We're looking at ways in which we can continue to provide additional information to folks about our candidacy, not just in Colorado, but around the country, because we got a big opportunity in this country, as you all know, a big opportunity for those of us who believe in those ideals that make this country great, and that the majority of Americans, in fact, do believe what we believe.
For me, as the practice of conservatism for me individually evolves, it's really focused these days on the Constitution. The principles, the underlying premise of our Constitution is what conservatism is to me. And we are losing that in this country, far and wide. We are forgetting what made this country so great. We're forgetting about the blueprint. There are many of us, our neighbors and friends, who think that the Constitution is a living document to change with the times. It's absolutely the opposite. It is an in-place blueprint that has led to the most successful experiment in politics that the world has ever seen. And for me, conservatism has to get back to those principles.
You know, I agree, absolutely. It means so many things to so many people, but for me, it's always come back to two basic things, freedom and opportunity.
And so for me and for most of us, I think, up there, it becomes a question of how do we control costs? How do we make sure that people are not taking advantage of the system? And to preserve those freedoms and liberties that we all enjoy, and to make sure government keeps its dirty hands off of the people.
Now that we're in the minority, how do we prevent ourselves from going nuts and having Obama derangement syndrome? And because we start to see some of this. And, you know, to me, it strikes me that we need to be, as a party in the minority, a party that is still putting forth constructive policy ideas. Putting forth constructive policy ideas. And even though we're not setting the agenda, healthcare may not have been at the top of our agenda if we had had control of Congress. Go for it, Trey.
Well, when you're in opposition, you do have to stop bad ideas. I mean, we can't not try our best to stop the bad ideas. And we ought to do our best to try to persuade the public, or at least enough of the public, that the ideas are bad. And one of the ways you can do that is by proposing an alternative that sounds
Explain to me what the GOP health care plan is.
But basically, it'll remain somewhat of the same.
The GOP plan for health care? I really don't. I think more, I can't think of it.
Great. Hey, Brad, do you want to take a stab at it? We'll go in backwards order.
Well, what you were just mentioning is just like the stimulus bill. It was the Republican governors that took the first stand against it, refusing to accept some of the money.
Before we're Republicans and before we're Democrats, we're Americans. And I think that we need to all remember that, first and foremost, we are all Americans.
Number one, during this time where we are not in power, we should take the time for self-reflection to realize and really think about what we did wrong.
So they have a really delicate balance to walk between keeping us relatively fearful, but not so fearful that we stop what we're doing and really examine how it is that they've been waging.
There are a lot of people who lie and get away with it. And that we will in fact find weapons or evidence of weapons programs that are conclusive.
I don't think we'll discover anything myself. It appears that there were not weapons of mass destruction there.
You said you knew where they were.
I did not.
We know where they are. They're in the area around Tikrit and Baghdad and east, west, south, and north.
Well, first of all, I haven't lied.
There are a lot of people who lie and get away with it.
Talking about lies and your allegation that there was bulletproof evidence of ties between Al-Qaeda and Iraq. Was that a lie?
Intelligence gathered by this and other governments leaves no doubt that the Iraqi regime continues to possess and conceal some of the most lethal weapons ever devised.
Our people are going to find out the truth, and the truth will say that this intelligence is good intelligence, no doubt in my mind.
I don't know anybody that I can think of who has contended that the Iraqis had nuclear weapons.
And we believe he has, in fact, reconstituted nuclear weapons.
Saddam Hussein is determined to get his hands on a nuclear bomb.
We cannot wait for the final proof. He's got him. He's got him. The smoking gun. He's got him. That could come in the form of a mushroom cloud.
Colin Powell didn't lie.
My colleagues, every statement I make today is backed up by sources, solid sources. These are not assertions. What we're giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence.
He has not developed any significant capability with respect to weapons of mass destruction. He is unable to project conventional power against his neighbors.
Our people are going to find out the truth.
I have not suggested there's a connection between Iraq and 9/11.
You have said in the past that it was, quote, pretty well confirmed.
No, I never said that.
Okay.
I never
think
said
that is...
That's absolutely not. What I said was, it's been pretty well confirmed that he did go to Prague and he did meet with a senior official of the Iraqi intelligence service.
Saddam Hussein aids and protects terrorists, including members of Al-Qaeda. Secretly and without fingerprints, he could provide one of his hidden weapons to terrorists or help them develop their own. What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing.
He said there were three main reasons for going to war in Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
The claim that Iraq was sponsoring terrorists who had attacked us on 9/11.
Before September the 11th, many in the world believed that Saddam Hussein could be contained.
And that Iraq had purchased nuclear materials from Niger.
The regime is seeking a nuclear bomb.
All three of those turned out to be false.
First, just if I might correct a misperception, I don't think we ever said, at least I know I didn't say, that there was a direct connection between September the 11th and Saddam Hussein.
Who does the president think he's effing kidding?
Of course, it was information that was mistaken.
There are a lot of people who lie and get away with it.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
When you have a precedent set like that, and you have somebody, George Tenet, acknowledging in his book that he knew that the administration was deceiving the American people into a situation that is murdering young men and women from this country and others, that George Tenet and Dick Cheney and Condoleezza Rice and George Bush et al. should be in fucking jail.